In this lecture, I am going to discuss about route resolver in Angular. What is resolver? Resolver is a service which you can call before a route gets activated. There are many uses of route resolver. For an example, if we want to fetch some data before our components get loaded, then we can prefetch the data by using route resolver. In our application, in this URL, we are making an API request to get list of post data. So we can use route resolver to prefetch list of post data for this route, but I am going to use the route resolver for our post details route. For our post details route, we are also making an API request to get the post data by this ID. Okay, and if I reload this page, you see initially we have this no post found message, and then as soon as I will get the data from the API, then we are rendering the post data here. So before landing on this page, I am going to prefetch the data by using route resolver. So before using route resolver, we need to create the resolver, right? So in our Angular application, we can create the resolver by running ngg for generate and then resolver and then your resolver name. And I am going to create the resolver under shared and then under resolvers folder. And my resolver name will be GetPostById. So this will generate a new file under our app shared and under resolvers folder. So let's open this resolvers folder. Here is the file for our GetPostByIdResolver, and inside this file we have this injectable decorator, and inside this injectable decorator we have an object here, and inside this object we have provided in root. That means we can use this resolver inside any of our module, and if we do not provide this provided in root here, then we need to import that resolver class inside those modules where we are going to use this resolver. Okay, now let's check this class. This class is implementing this resolve, which will come from Angular router. We have this resolve method, and from this resolve method we are returning an observable. Okay, now I am going to tell you how we can use this resolver before making any changes inside this file. So let's open our app routing model.ts file, and I am going to use that resolver for our post details route. So in our route we can use resolver by using resolve, and then we need to provide an object, and inside this object we need to provide the key through which we will get the data inside our component. Okay, so I'm going to receive the post data, so that is why I'm providing post as a key here, and then we need to provide the resolver class. The class name is GetPostByIdResolver, and you need to import this class here. Save this file. Now how we will receive this data inside our component, because for our post details route our post details components is loading, so we can get this data inside our post details component. So let's open our post details component, which is under app and then post, and then under post details folder. Here is the component file, and we can receive the data which we will get from resolver by using this activated route, and then we need to call the data observable. So we can receive the data which will return from observable by using the dot activated route dot data, and we need to subscribe the observable to get the data, and we'll have list of data as an array. And if I console log the data here, you will see that we'll have an array where we'll have the post data. So for now, from the resolver we are returning only true, right? If I check the resolver, and from this resolver we are returning an observable of value true, and we are using this resolver inside our post details route, and we are receiving the data inside our post details component here by using this dot activated route dot data, and then by calling subscribe method. Okay, and we are printing the data here. Now if I reload our post details route and check the developer console, we'll see we'll have data here, and if we check that object, you see we have this post as true, because from the resolver we are returning true, right? So instead of returning true, what I'm going to do, from the resolver I'm going to make the API request to get the post data. So let's copy this, what we are doing here inside our post details component to get the post data. We're making this API request right here. So let's copy this, and from our GetPostByIdResolver method I'm going to return this from here, right? And we need to provide the post ID here. So how we will get the post ID? we'll get the post ID from route.params, and then we need to provide the parameter name. So parameter name is ID, and we need to import or inject our post service here. So let's inject our post service inside this constructor. So let's provide private post service, and this will be type of our post service. And then if I check our post details component, so right now we are making the API request here to get the post data, right? So instead of making the request here, we are receiving the data from our resolver, right? So we don't need to call API request here to get the post data. So let's comment out this code and let's reload our post details route. You see we have this post data inside the console, right? So we need to set our post data to our post property. That is why right now we are getting no post found message, because our post property by default null, right? And we already checked that if our post is null, then we are printing a message no post found. Yeah. So as soon as we will get data from the API, then what we need to do, we need to set the post data to our post property, right? So let's copy this and paste this here, and we will receive the data from post key. So this is the key what we have defined inside our resolve object. Okay, so this is the key. Let's paste it here, and this will solve the problem. Okay, and if I check the resolver, you see we are providing the type here. So instead of boolean, what we can do, we can provide the type any for now. Okay, save this file and reload the page. We will have the post data here rendering, right? So we successfully use our resolver to prefetch the data for our post details route. But if I provide any incorrect ID for the post, instead of getting the message no post found, we are returning to our home page and we are getting some error in the console. So we need to handle error inside our resolver. So we can error handle by using pipe operator, which will come from RxJS, and we need to call catch error method here. And from the catch error method, I will provide the error here, and then if we have error from the API, then we will return an observable of type null. So this will solve the problem. Now save this file and reload our page and go to our post details route, and then let's provide invalid ID in the parameter. You see we are getting no post found message here, right? So we successfully used route resolver for our post details route. You can also use resolver for your post URL. If you want to fetch the post data before landing on this page, we can also use a new resolver for our post list route. So here is the route for our post list. So you want to provide multiple resolver for a route, then you can provide it one by one here. Suppose you want to get list of categories here, you can also create a new resolver and you can provide the categories resolver name here. Okay, so that is how you can use multiple resolver for a route. So that's it for route resolver in Angular. In the next lecture, I am going to discuss how we can display a loader in our Angular application, and you will also learn about Angular router event. So stay connected for this.